Let's go ahead and call to order this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. First item on our agenda is consider approval of the minutes of June 16th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The second item on our agenda is case number SC 2021-004, closure and abandonment on an undeveloped portion of Fifth Avenue. Steve, and I believe Steve had some remarks to make as well.
Yes, ma'am. On the chairperson remarks, just wanted to point out to the commission that we will be sending or making available to you a form from staff level that is for conflict of interest. So in the future, if you have any commissioners that may feel they have a conflict of interest on a case before it arrives to the P&Z meeting, you can let us know. We'll get that form processed for you. Anything else outside of that conflict of interest will be just a recusal from the vote. So
okay.
Just a little bit of housekeeping there to let you know that that will be coming out to the commission. And basically, just please call us if you have belief that you have a conflict of interest with any of the cases.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so on to case number SC 2021-004, closure and abandonment of an undeveloped portion of Fifth Avenue.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair and Commissioners, the staff is recommending that the commission give a recommendation to City Council to close and abandon the undeveloped portion of the 700 block of Fifth Street, which is between Grosbeck and Hyman. In your packet, we have provided the background on the process for street closure through the city ordinance. And the city council on this particular action, or they initiated action at a regular business meeting on June 6, 2021. And from that action, it is now required that the commission review this closure and provide a recommendation back to City Council for approval. Again, the applicable sections are included in your packet for review. We did consult with other departments. There were no objections. Public Works did mention that there is an easement that must be retained by the city for a 14-inch diameter concrete transmission main, which is an existing main in Fifth Avenue right-of-way, and a 6-inch diameter sanitary sewer which traverses the right-of-way as well. There's an estimate included in your packet. For the full width is $19,497.65, and for the 25-foot right-of-way would be $9,748.83. With your recommendation to the City Council, they will make a determination on how to proceed as far as the closure of this street and then offering the property to the adjacent property owners for potential purchase. Your options are to recommend the City Council abandon the street, or recommend that the City Council terminate the initiated action taken on June 6th. And that's my report, ma'am.
So what was the impetus for this? Did the neighboring properties come forward and ask, or why now?
Well, we do have a project in the immediate vicinity that we believe will eventually develop if they can get access to the property. And there are no future plans for this particular portion of Fifth Street. So it's an undeveloped portion of the street with no immediate plans in the future, but it would, if we were to abandon the street, give us the opportunity to bring a project online that would actually contribute to the community.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions?
I have a question. Is there anything in the city history as to why this street was never developed? I mean, this street is open to the north and to the south. Is there some reason that it was not put through on that particular block?
Personally, I don't have that history. To the best of my knowledge, I just know that we have no immediate plans for the development of this street, nor do we think that it ever will be developed. So according to where we are now as far as development across the city, it is believed that selling this or abandoning the street and selling it to adjacent property owners would be the best for the community. So, and one thing that I failed to mention, there is one letter of favor included in your packet, and that is from a Mr. Bruner, and it is in your packet for your.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this abandonment? Anybody who wishes to speak against? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council to approve case SC 2021-004.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay. I don't have any issue with this. Does anybody? Anybody down there?
How far does, I went down there and looked at this particular piece of property today, but I did not look to see how far Fifth Avenue went to the north and to the south. Can you, I'm not real sure. Does it go all the way out to the southwest loop, or to the south loop, I mean?
I believe that's correct, yes, sir.
And it goes north to the railroad tracks?
I believe that's correct.
It dead ends into Cage.
What's that?
It dead ends into Cage Street.
Okay.
And just to ask a further clarification question, so this just came up out of the blue. There's not anything currently that's going to be developed that would really change? based on this?
There's a project that is out there that has been considered in the past. It's been on hold. I anticipate that if they have access to a certain portion of the property that they're looking at, they will continue that project. We don't have any date specific on that particular issue. But again, if the property was available where they could access the certain portion of their parcel, that they would be able to proceed with the development of that land.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I missed the first part, and I apologize for that, but concerning the 14-inch water main, you said that they couldn't build up on the top of it, is that correct?
Not anything vertical. If they had a street or
Parking
driveway
lot or
access
something
to
like
it, then they could build on top of it.
But not a-
But we would have to have rights to be able to access that for maintenance in the future.
Right, so no physical structure, just a parking lot
Yes,
or
yes, sir.
something
Not,
like
you-
that?
that is correct. Nothing vertical.
You ready to vote? All those in favor of recommending to council abandonment of the undeveloped portion of Fifth Avenue, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so opposed are Bruce and Justin.
I'm undecided.
Which way did,
I'm gonna go no,
you're going to go no?
yeah.
Would it be possible for me to speak to this? I wasn't planning on it, but I mean, I could answer some questions. I've owned that property for years in that area.
We can reopen the public hearing. Please, sir, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't.
Please
didn't
state
know
your-
if it was necessary, I was gonna add anything. My name's Stephen
But,
Peacock.
I don't.
I
think we
can't?
We've already voted.
Oh, because we've already voted? Look, they're like, oh.
Sorry about
Also, Madam Chair, I believe since if we have a split vote right now, in this case,
It has to-
you would not vote
It's-
in the.
No, it's down to 2/3. No recommendation to council is the way it stands. Okay,
Because there wasn't enough to do.
okay.
Sorry, I
So-
didn't get involved real quick.
Yeah, right. I was all for it, but okay. Okay, so this will move forward to council with no recommendation. So what I would suggest to you, sir, is attend the next council meeting and speak when it's at a public, during the public hearing. Okay. And of course, council makes the final decision. We only make a recommendation. Okay. So moving on, case number RZ 2021-012, applicant Mark Bostock, DBA Reunion Center Enterprises, is requesting a rezone of property located at 408 Morgan Mill Road, parcel R33346 of Sims Edition, Block 3, Lot 4 of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas, from R1 single-family residential to B2 commercial, retail and commercial.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Mr. Bostock is requesting a zoning change to allow for the existing business to be properly zoned. The requested zoning conforms with the future land use of the comprehensive plan. The property is currently an automobile repair shop, which is a permitted use within the commercial zoning district. Have maps included in your packet that show the current zoning being R1, single family. Future land use is commercial. So again, this request conforms to the future land use. Property is served by a 6-inch water main in Morgan Mill and an 8-inch sanitary sewer in Morgan Mill. And the serving the property is also Morgan Mill. I have a description of the zoning regulations for the commercial district. And then we also included the application from Mr. Bostock. Your alternatives are to recommend approval of the rezoning request, recommend denial, or recommend zoning other than requested. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve? All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone request?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right, please, if you could just come to the microphone, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm Robbie Lawrence, 406 Morgan Mill Road. I live the closest to it than anybody.
Okay,
And I agree with it going commercial. All righty?
that's it?
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak in favor?
Question.
Yes, ma'am. Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Hazel Grissom, and I live at 413 Morgan Mill Road across the street. I don't know what we want to put in there. You know, I mean, if it's gonna, it's Fuller's Transmission closed down right now, and another little shop over to the side of it, so I don't see how it's even considered residential right now. I mean, not residential, or, I don't see how it's not considered to be commercial right now. But neither here nor there, I just was curious as to what would be going in there.
I don't know that we know, do we, Steve?
That has not been disclosed to staff.
I can answer that question. My name is Mark Bostock. I represent Reunion Center.
Okay,
I'd like to answer your questions.
Please.
Right now, it is planned to be rented to Mr. Lawrence over here. They will run feed and seed out of it. It'll be a local business that will help the commerce of people that need feed and hay in Stephenville. As you suggested a while ago, it has always been commercial.
I thought it had.
I think there's a high probability that it was a clerical error on the zoning, and that's why we're having this meeting now,
Okay.
because it was been Fuller's Transmission
Right.
as long as I can remember when I purchased the property.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, it's been Fuller's Transmission for a good long while, but is that B&D Nutrition and the hay store the only thing that's gonna be there again?
at this time, yes, at this time. And I'll be glad to give you any type of information if we planned on doing other businesses, but right now there is no other plans. It's just to keep it a local business.
okay, ma'am, does that clarify for you? Are you're okay?
I'm clarified and I
Okay.
have no opposition to that.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak in for or against this rezone request? All right, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that it be approved, or that we recommend approval to the city council, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Any need to discuss? All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this rezone, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, so that will move forward to council with a recommendation to approve. So they will make the final decision. All right, moving on. Case number RZ 2021-013. Applicant Tim Trotter is requesting a rezone of property located at 0 Choctaw Road, parcel R34558 of Westgate Addition Block G, part of of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas, from industrial to single-family. Steve?
Yes, ma'am. The comprehensive plan for this property is, designates the land as single-family. The intended project is, for the requested zoning is for single-family resident construction. Mr. Trotter, who is here tonight, has completed the civil work and filed for a minor replat, which led to the discovery of Block G being zoned commercial. It's a very small portion of property that it runs north and south with his property that he did acquire Block G, but was unaware of the commercial or industrial zoning for that particular property when he purchased it. So before we can actually move forward with the plat review and approval, this rezone is necessary to make sure that the plat will not involve split zoning for the particular parcel. So you see with the current zoning map, it's a small, I believe it's less than a tenth of an acre. Actually, I believe it's .02.
About 1 foot wide at one end and about 7 feet wide at the other end.
Yes, ma'am. Almost
Wow.
hard to identify on the plat itself because it's such a small piece of property. And we're simply asking the commission consider this rezone to allow the final plat.
Just the
to be
tiny
approved.
blue line. Yeah, okay.
I have one question. How did this become industrial zoned in the first place?
I believe the properties that he purchased were actually industrially zoned, but there was this very small piece.
Was this a surveyor's error?
That's a strong possibility, yes, sir.
Let me open a public hearing. Sir, you're, Mr. Trotter, would you like to go ahead and explain?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened was I purchased the property, it was almost an acre block, and wasn't disclosed that there was another block involved. So I rezoned that several years ago, the rest of it to residential. And once I acquired the Block G, I never thought about the Block G actually needing to be rezoned. So that I'm back here again.
Thank you, sir.
But
Yeah.
how did that narrow
Sliver.
of a piece of property, but in and of itself, escape?
I think maybe they were trying to block future development or something. I can't figure it out. I really don't know. The road that came through there might have been set in the wrong place or something at one time.
So it predates all of us.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It may even predate zoning in the city of Stephenville, is what you're saying.
Thank,
Okay.
When I
Madam-
bought the
Thank you,
place,
sir.
I didn't realize that
Okay.
there was even a Block G.
thank you, sir.
Madam Chair, if I may add,
Yeah.
Mr. Trotter has been working with city staff, and he has, he's completed the public infrastructure improvements that were required for his development. He has this ready to go to sell to other developers across the city, if that may be the case. And he is ready to move forward with this project. This was a technicality that was just overlooked in the past, and that we're trying to get addressed for Mr. Trotter so he may move forward.
Okay, is anybody else here wish to speak for or against this rezone request? All right, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion from the commission.
I move that we recommend to council approval of RZ 2021-013.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this rezone request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that'll go forward to council, and they will make the final decision. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on. Case number PP 2021-001, applicant Reese Flanagan with MMA Incorporated, representing Brown Pace Development Company, is requesting a preliminary plat of property located at 422 South Lillian, parcel R33522 of Southside Edition, Block 8, Lot 5678, J&D MHP of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas. The applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary plat of subdividing 3 parcels into 64 lots. Steve.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. This is a case that the commission is probably very familiar with. We've worked with Mr. Pace for since probably October on this project. So he has come for in the past, he rezoned the properties, and that was in October and December, I believe, when the commission approved those rezone requests. And then now he is moving forward with this project, which you may recall will result in the removal of some of the mobile homes in that area. And he is proposing a townhome development. Mr. Pace went to the Board of Adjustment and received some variances on the townhome development. So as you will see in this preliminary plat, the lots will be smaller dimension than normally required in the zoning ordinance, but that was granted by the Board of Adjustment. And so Mr. Pace has a preliminary plat for your consideration tonight. And again, as the project develops and we work with through the development process with city staff, there will be extension of water mains, sewer mains, things of that nature. He will have some private roads on this property, and we will work with him on the easements within that property to service these mains. So all that will be discussed at the development process. And then once those public improvements are completed and accepted by the city, Mr. Pace will again come back for a final plat approval with P&Z and then, of course, to council. So tonight is just one of the first steps in the process. The P&Z will again have the opportunity, and staff will make certain that when we come back for the final plat review, that it meets the project as submitted through the civil plan approval process. So I believe that should answer most of the questions and give you some background on the property. The maps that we included in your packet were actually from the cases back in December, so they have not been updated to show the current zoning, but this property, by action of the commission and the city council, have been rezoned to allow this particular project.
Thank you. Does anybody have questions for Steve? All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this preliminary plat?
Do I need to?
Do you have anything to say? I think we're good. Thank you. Anybody wish to speak against this plat, preliminary plat? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, we need a motion and a second to discuss.
I'll move
Motion that we recommend approval of the city council.
Second.
Okay.
I've got a question. With this preliminary plat that I'm looking at, does it anywhere address the drainage issue that was addressed in the previous meeting?
Yes, sir.
big letter in
Mr.
there.
Leslie, Commissioner
Okay.
Leslie, I failed to mention that the applicant did submit all the required documentation for this preliminary plat. Staff's been reviewing that already, and so
Okay,
we
so
are
the
looking
drainage
at the
plan is there.
drainage,
Awesome.
utilities, everything is already
Okay,
under
I
review
missed
through
that
the
piece.
development process,
Okay.
and we are
Big
working
letter.
very closely
All right.
Think about the drainage.
on that issue. It's a great question I failed to mention. And it's in your packet. They had quite a few additional
Yeah,
submittals.
there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Preliminary plat submittal, site drawings, and then drainage memo, and then construction documents as well. So all that is currently being reviewed by staff.
Okay.
We ready to vote? All right, all those in favor of recommending to council approval of this preliminary plat, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so this goes forward to council with a recommendation to approve. Moving on to the next case, case number PP 2021-002. Applicant Reese Flanagan with MMA Inc., representing Brown Pace Development Company, is requesting a preliminary plat of property located at 1600 West Swan, parcel R33564 of Southside Edition, Block 14, Lot 5, part of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas. This applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary plat of dividing the 3 affected parcels into 64 lots. I apologize if we have to break it out, so we go through this 3 times.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. This is a sister property to the project. There's actually a public street that divides divides these parcels. So the project is actually although moving forward all at the same pace, it's same project. It's actually 3 separate parcels, hence the 3 different cases. So, same situation, same background, same everything, just a different parcel.
Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Anybody here wish to speak in favor of this preliminary plat? Anybody wish to speak against? We will close the public hearing. Commissioners, if I can get a motion?
I move that we recommend to council approval of PP 2021-002.
Second.
I assume we don't need to discuss. All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this preliminary plat, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, so that moves forward. Moving on to the final portion of this, case number PP 2021-003, applicant Reese Flanagan with MMA Inc., representing Brown Pace Development Company, is requesting a preliminary plat of property located at 1601 West Swan, Parcel R33513 of Southside Addition, Block 7, Lot 7 and 8, J&D MHP of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas. The applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary plat of the 3 parcels being subdivided into 64 units. Steve?
Yes, ma'am. Once again, this is a sister property for the same project. No additional information.
Thank you. I will open a public hearing. Anybody who wish to speak in favor of this approval of this preliminary plat? Anybody wish to speak against? Closing the public hearing. Commissioners?
I move that we recommend to council PP 2021-003 for approval.
Second.
All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this preliminary plat, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That moves forward. You're done. Thank you, sir.
This was a good birthday present.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, next up, case number PP 2021-004. Applicant Zane Griffin with Native Company LLC, representing Oakdale United Methodist Nonprofit, is requesting a preliminary plat of property located at 2675 West Overhill, parcel R22423 of the Motley William Abstract of the City of Stephenville, Urath County, Texas. The applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary plat of the unplatted parcel known as R22423 located at 2675 West Overhill.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, this property was recently rezoned to B1 neighborhood business, which conforms to the designated land use of the comprehensive plan. The intended project is for a medical center, and it's a permitted use under the new zoning that was approved just recently by P&Z and City Council. Generally, this particular plat may have been able to be approved at the staff level as a minor replat or a minor plat in this case. However, for this particular property, the water main stops just short of this parcel. So because of that, it no longer qualifies as a minor replat or minor plat, so requiring action by the commission. So there is a 6-inch water main in Overhill, and there's a 6-inch sewer main that will have to be extended. I believe I mentioned it was a water main, but it's a sewer main that will have to be extended. And because of that extension, it requires your review. The property is served by the Northwest Loop and Overhill. We've provided a description of the zoning, which was recently approved to B1. And then also in your packet, we have the maps of the property and the application for your review. We are recommending that you recommend approval to the City Council.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve?
Yeah, Steve, this calls for access only from Overhill, is that correct?
I believe the developer, Mr. Gailey's here tonight. I think he can, believe, I recall a conversation to that effect, and I think TxDOT has looked at entry from the Northwest Loop. Otherwise, you are correct, it would have to come off of Overhill. That will be subject to approval by TxDOT, but I believe Mr. Gailey is already in communication with TxDOT.
Okay.
All right, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this? Mr. Gailey, do you have anything you want to add, or?
I was aware of the sewer main that was stopping down the street. I'm aware of, having to go in and pick that up because I don't have access on the northwest loop. So I was aware of that, so, whenever we went into it, I was unaware of the plat issue when we did, but again, it's not, hasn't been a tree problem or anything for me. So, if maybe a later time, I may be asking for a variance on stopping that sewer main and not extending it all the way down Overhill, because there's no other property past it that can be developed for later, but the streets, but that would be.
Down the
for a
road.
later time, but-
Okay. Is anybody else here who wishes to speak for or against this preliminary plat? All right, I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, I need a motion so we can discuss.
Move that we recommend to council approval of case 2021-004.
Second.
Any discussion?
The highlighted item that is in our packet is showing the church instead of the corner area. We're talking about the corner area, is that correct?
Let me see, catch up with you.
I'm on page 109 of 114.
Yes, sir, that property that is shown here is incorrect. It's the one to the west, the triangular shaped property.
Right.
Thought we had updated that in the packet, so that was a misstep on my part. I believe if we look at the maps included in your staff report, we do have the correct map in the staff report.
Everything else looks right. I was just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. The
No, that's all right.
PowerPoint upload was not caught, but we do have the correct map in the staff report.
Okay, we good to vote? All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this preliminary plat, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That will move forward to council with recommendation that they approve the preliminary plat. Thank you, sir. Okay. This was a short and sweet one. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Let me.
Sir?
Shall we?
Second.
All right, this meeting is
See, I
adjourned.
got my name.
There you do.
See, I finally